The views and opinions of the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning, Bahamas. It is the 21st of May, 2021, and you're tuned in to Guardian Talk Radio 96.9 FM. You're on the clock with Erin Greene. On the clock, we engage organizations, institutions, social leaders, and ordinary people to better understand the impact of public policy, private sector development, and emerging social and consumer trends. On the clock, we have conversations that help us understand and navigate a changing Bahamas. Today's show is brought to you by the Department of Inland Revenue. And to start the show, I have an ad from the Ministry of Finance, work for its citizens. And so we are increasing and integrating our in order to provide more efficient and effective service to all Bahamians. Visit mygateway.gov.bs to register. Again, this message is brought to you by the Ministry of Finance. Well, today is Fridays, my favorite day of the week. Let's not forget that we have a long weekend. We have a holiday weekend. And every Bahamian enjoys a holiday celebrate. That holiday, the religious observance, whether they participate in it or not, they celebrating that holiday. Plenty of us are what you call cultural Christians, right? We don't necessarily ascribe to the Christian God, but we're not going to upset the apple cart. If it's Christmas and you having Christmas dinner, we coming. If it's Easter and you having the Easter get together, we coming and we celebrating in faith with you, right? Because we're beautiful people. I don't need to believe what you believe to celebrate your belief with you. I'm honoring the divinity within you when I celebrate your beliefs with you. But one moment, that is just my guest setting up some info for the show. Like I said, it's Culture Fridays, and our guests today, I'm just going to tell them who you are. I'm not going to bring you on yet. Mr. Jarvis Grant and Mr. Williams from Imanji Circus and the Imanji School of Performing Arts. So if I were you, I would tune in via video so you could see these strong and brave men attempt to throw me in the air and catch me. I think it could be that easy. Like how some of y'all is catch a case. Like y'all just walk out your house and catch a case. It could be easy like that. So here are the ways that you can tune into the show. Guardian Radio 96.9 FM is locked on your dial. But if you have to change, streaming live audio and video on GuardianTalkRadio.com is also an option. You could listen on TV on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 or Flow Channel 612. Or download the Guardian Radio app for your Apple and Android smart devices. And listen to our audio feed or watch us on our video feed right there on the Guardian Radio app. You can text us on the Guardian Radio text line. That's 422-GR96. That's 422-4796, and that's powered by BTC. Standard text rates apply. Or you could call us at 323-6232 or 325-4316 or 325-4259. So before we get into the show, I want to talk a little bit about what is in the news and what was happening in Nassau yesterday. So I want to first send a thank you and a shout out to a young nursing student by the name of Colette that followed my partner to the police station to corroborate the report of a vehicle that sideswiped our car while being checked by a mechanic. Parked 2 feet off the road, and then he sped away from the scene of the accident. I want to thank Colette for making sure that my partner was okay and for following her and ensuring that she got to the police station safely, and then also corroborating the report. I want to thank her very, very much. She didn't have to spend that time yesterday doing that. The same way the person who was driving that car didn't have to spend their time doing all of the things they were doing in that car at the time of the accident. And we can leave that right there because I don't want to prejudice that person's potential case. See, somebody got to act responsibly. We have to encourage each other to act responsibly by acting responsibly. And I could run hot and I could rant about that boy and talk about the details and the vibe and everything, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to talk about some other things that I witnessed on the road over the last few weeks. In fact, this week. On Mackey and Shirley Street, yesterday, a trailer is preparing to turn left on red into oncoming traffic. To do this, he's driving north down Mackey Street in the center of the road into oncoming traffic. Did I mention the oncoming traffic part? I don't want to miss that out. He wanted to turn left, but he couldn't do it unless he put his vehicle in the center of Mackey Street, except he was doing that on his own red light with vehicles driving towards him. In the space of 2 weeks, I've seen 4 vehicles pulling trailers turning left on red. I am certain that left on red is not for large commercial vehicles and semis pulling trailers. I don't need a law to tell me that. I don't need a law to tell me that don't make any sense. An increasing number of vehicles are turning right on red from Mackey Street onto Shirley Street with no regard for traffic traveling west on Shirley Street or traveling north on Mackey to turn onto Shirley Street. The only thing more infuriating than watching the wanton recklessness and disrespect for life is the virtual lack of enforcement. Imagine that cars are regularly running the stop sign on the north end of Collins Avenue. And then some of them force their way into the north lane to make their way to Dowswell and Bay Street. Now, mind you, they're doing all of this in front of a hospital and in between 2 hospitals. And they're doing this every day, all the time. So I could tell you, I was hurt to the point of almost crying tears when on the side of me, a police car watches 3 vehicles run the stop sign, one after the other, in front of their vehicle and does nothing. Does not even beep their horn as a nonverbal warning to the drivers. Drivers and pedestrians alike are ignoring traffic signals, stop signs, pedestrian crossings, divider lines, and other traffic controls. There is a blatant disregard for traffic laws. But more importantly, a disregard for the potential impact of our actions on others. even in the time of COVID, when our resources are stretched thin or are non-existent. This is how we treat each other. This is what we do to each other. And there's a more important point. And you're going to say, oh, Erin, what's more important than protecting human lives? Well, I can tell you what it is. It's not more important, but it's right there on the surface. For all of the people that want to see the liberalization of marijuana or cannabis, who want to see in the immediate or near future legislation describing the legalization, the full legalization of marijuana for recreational use. You ain't gonna never have that unless you can compel ordinary Bahamians to govern themselves. We ain't gonna ever have nice things unless we compel our fellow citizens to govern themselves, to moderate their behavior, to practice spatial awareness and mindfulness. See, there's an argument about the recreational use, whether it's a matter of collective responsibility or personal responsibility. Well, even if it's you one putting the joint in your mouth and you one bought it, even if you one grew it and you one bought it and you one smoking it, you still have a responsibility to the collective. Not only do you have to govern yourself, but you have to ensure, no matter how ill-prepared the people around you are for adulthood and governing themselves, that your actions don't negatively impact them. That's what being an adult is about. That's what being mature is about. And we're not going to have the nice things that we think we deserve until we realize we are responsible for creating the environment in which we can realize those things. And none of us will realize that thing in a vacuum. None of us will be allowed to smoke unless all of us can show that we can engage each other like sensible, mature, respectful, mindful adults. So there are a lot of smokers out there who are very upset with y'all Bahamians. They governing themselves. You don't even know they smoke. You would never know. Because they are committed to reducing the impact of their negative behavior, because it's against the law, on others. But even they, all of us, we have to compel one another. We have to convince one another of the benefit of doing the right thing, of doing what we know we ought to do when we know we ought to do it. Now, that was a bit heavy, and so let us turn to the jokes. And I kid you, but let's get to the paper. The first thing that stood out to me, Sebastian named non-resident ambassador designate for South Africa. And I want to say congratulations to Sebastian. You certainly have committed your career, yourself, to hard work and discipline and achieving your goals. And that's definitely a model. We want to model that in our country. We want young people to see examples of others who create a plan, follow through on the plan, bring others into the plan, create an environment where others could benefit from the plan. This is all great. But then it causes me to ask the question, what are the qualifications to be appointed an ambassador? That's all we want to know. The truth is, we don't care about who you appoint, really. I mean, we care to some degree, but we're more concerned about what are the rules, what are the criteria? How do I prepare my child to possibly have the honor of being appointed an ambassador, right? That's what we want to know. Is there a standard set of rules? Is the game fair? Let me know now if I need to start saving my 5-cent pieces. See, because you can't save your pennies no more unless you're going to use them in an art project. They ain't worth nothing. Just let me know. I really just want to know. But there is more in the paper. Bill outlines 5 types of licenses need to handle cannabis. Legislation would give power to Medicinal Cannabis Authority to approve persons or entities. Boy, I was shocked. I really thought this was a distraction. When the Prime Minister said, I got THC on my mind, I thought this was a distraction. But then to hear people talking about leaked bills, right? And then to hear the AG say, you don't know nothing about no leaked bill. Maybe it isn't a distraction. Or maybe it's one of those beautiful distractions within a distraction. But that ain't even the best part. The licenses, all of that thing, we need to ask the marijuana advocacy or the cannabis advocacy groups to come together and create a unit or a mechanism, right, where they collate all of the statements from the government, all the official statements from the government, right, so that the average person can come in and read them. Bring in some lawyers, bring in some social experts, and create a discourse so people can come to one singular space and begin to understand this process of liberalization, of creating an industry. Help people help you by helping them become informed. The most important thing, I think, though, is this story in the Tribune today, $500 fixed penalty in cannabis law draft. Now, I think if you all heard me yesterday saying that I'm very concerned because of a lack of clarity, the story in the paper used 2 distinct words. They used legalize and decriminalize. And I think in this particular instance, they have different meanings. And the article reads, people who are caught with 2 ounces of cannabis or less would face a fixed penalty of $500 if the draft amendment becomes law. That's not legalization, people. That's not legalization. That's decriminalization, right? $500, a fixed penalty of $500 if you were caught with 2 ounces of cannabis or less. But the more interesting part is the penalty if you are caught with more than 2 ounces of cannabis. And the article goes on to say, under the draft bill, people who have more than 2 ounces of cannabis could still face severe punishment, including up to 10 years in prison or a fine not exceeding $100,000. So, what was the point? Because I don't know if you, actually made significant change in the law to warrant changing the law. We're still not sure how the fixed penalty will operate. Will it be on the record? Will my employer be able to see that I have this fixed penalty for this marijuana possession? Would they be allowed to discriminate against me on the basis of this conviction and not hire me for no other reason but that? All of these things we still need to talk about. The article also talks about the discrepancies in provisions throughout the region. For instance, in Trinidad, you are allowed to grow a certain amount of plants for personal possession with no penalty. Anyway, this is all very interesting. My concern is that it may be a distraction in a distraction. So what we need to do is ensure that our civil society organizations that are focused on cannabis advocacy create an environment where the average citizen can access this information, understand it quickly and easily, and express their opinion to the state and respond to these bills. Also in the paper, stakeout for victims of Potter's Key fire. I only want to say one thing. All of the businesses impacted were restaurants, right? correct me if I'm wrong, and all of the businesses impacted sell primarily seafood, right? And you could correct me if I'm wrong there too. Why are they having a steak out? Why y'all don't have a seafood out? I don't. Listen, I just saying a little bit of creativity. I know people are stressed out. I know you take in the donations that you can get, but you could do a little seafood thing, man. People would love that. Anyway, I'm going to read some text and then we're going to roll into a break, Arlington. Let me get to these texts. And then I see my circus performers have brought in some recruits. They serious about tossing me in the air and spinning me like a basketball. So to my text, Erin, good morning. Thanks for the cultural humor. I had a good laugh from your initial opening narratives. Well, thank you. We all need some laughter in this kind of time because things are tough. And don't mind that you see people pushing through like the mature adults that they are, you know. Don't mind you see them doing what they know they ought to do when they know they ought to do it. Give them some humor too. Miss Greene, 2 straight, FNM. But D, if I could get 2 straight Scarlet Plum season, with plenty Scarlet Plum, I'd be happy. You think I worry about FNM election? I just want 2 solid Scarlet Plum season, cuz. Another text, drivers in Nassau are a special type of stupid. That type of stupid is extremely special. Dear texter, usually I take umbrage to calling people stupid, but some of the things I've seen on the road in the last few days, trust me, the number of deaths that we've already recorded and traffic fatalities that we've already recorded for the year. And people are still on their phone. If you could see the camera, they still driving their car with their phone straight up to their face. And some of y'all are still engaging in explicit sexual acts while you're supposed to be in control of a motor vehicle. I don't think you all understand how egregious this behavior is. When the old people used to talk about beating you, because I remember that, I didn't even get beaten, I remember hearing it. They used to talk about beating you for nothing. You all would have spent all day. They say, you know why lobsters get red? It makes no sense, Bahamians. But I can tell you, I know exactly what it is. I know what it is. See, when you have to take out a loan to buy a car, you and the bank and your employer, the 3 of y'all paying for that car. The 3 of y'all own that car until you pay it off. So you don't make a move in that car without thinking about the bank and the person who is paying your paycheck every month or week. That helps you to moderate your behavior on the road, knowing that once a month you gotta go talk to somebody and put money in their hand. And if something happened to the car and it's your fault, you gotta pay for the car, you gotta pay for the other people them car and their medical care if you was really doing foolishness, and your insurance can go up, and you still gotta figure out how to get another car. And thinking about all of those things help us to moderate our behavior. But when you buy the car from the I was going to say from the Chinese, but really what I meant was from the Japanese import car industry. So it's not about the quality of the vehicle. It's not about the roadworthiness of the vehicle. It's that you were able to buy the car with your own money. You didn't have to go to the bank to get a loan. And more than likely, you already have the money for the car, so you don't have to rely on an employer paying you to make the payments. When you don't have to think about all of those people when you're making these decisions on the road, you tend to be a little more reckless. You tend to not care about the other circumstances. That's what's going on. Anyway, Arlington, it's time to roll into that break because it's Culture Fridays and the Amanji Circus is here in studio with us today. Dear audience, stay tuned. We'll be right back after this break.
Jackie. Jackie's a hard worker with a steady income, but she has a personal loan and multiple credit cards to pay off. To keep her account current, Jackie opted for a loan from Fidelity Bank to consolidate her debt into one monthly payment and earn interest on a built-in savings account. Be like Jackie. Call 356-7764 to book a complimentary financial coaching session. Fidelity also offers virtual assistance. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Preparing for a hurricane can make all the difference in safeguarding the lives of family, friends, and neighbors. By knowing what action you should take, you can reduce the effects of a hurricane disaster. Get all the facts of the potential of having insurance, impact-resistant windows, home emergency power, essential supplies, and a lot more before the storm. After the storm, where to purchase building or cleaning supplies, waste disposal, medical care, and more. The Nassau Guardian's Hurricane Guide will help you make sure everyone knows what to do in the event a hurricane approaches. Take advantage of this double insertion opportunity, plus 15 commercials on Star 106 hits. Contact us today at 302-2300. That's 302-2300, or your account executive. Will you be prepared?
Have an outstanding real property tax bill? Take advantage of our Real Property Tax Forgiveness Program. Bring your account to zero and receive a 50% discount on your outstanding tax and surcharge past 180 days. Or get a payment plan. Make a 25% deposit on your outstanding tax, receive a 100% waiver on the surcharge, and pay the difference within 36 months, interest-free. Contact the Department of Inland Revenue at 225-5778 or email us at rptforgive@bahamas.gov.bs. Offer ends May 31st.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Aha! Da 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 ding 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 day. Da 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 ding 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 day. Here is a story that's also true. Just sit right back and I tell it to you. But my grandpa used to tell to me when I was nothing more than the age of 3. Auntie B, she used to roast the corn. Everyone else, they would gather around to hear this.
Boy, that sound like a man who know how to juggle couple relationships. Ain't nothing than a Bahamian man singing a sweet song to you, buddy. That's how we get trapped, you know. That's how we get trapped. It's like magic. It's soothing to the ears. It's just beautiful. But that's how they do us, though. They be juggling these relationships. But you still gotta love them. Anyway, as we get into the show, I got another ad for you from the Department of Inland Revenue. Bahamian property owners can now take advantage of waivers on their real property tax in one of two ways. 1, bring your account to zero. 2, get a payment plan. Foreigners can receive a 100% waiver on surcharge. Offer ends May 31st, 2021. For further information, email rptforgive@bahamas.gov.bs or call 242-225-5778. That's a toll-free number. Remember, this message is brought to you by the Department of Inland Revenue. Well, good morning to my guests. How are you this morning?
Great.
I have in studio members of the Amanji School of Performing Arts and the Amanji Circus. Please introduce yourselves.
Well, I'm Jarvis Grant, the director, the founder, and the owner, along with my lovely wife, Derica Grant.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Christian Williams. I'm a circus performer in the Imaji Circus, and I'm also a teacher.
All right. Do me a favor, especially since you have on your mask, come as close to the mic as possible when you're talking. You're also a teacher.
Yes.
A teacher of
And-
performing arts or a teacher in the education system?
Teacher in the performing arts in the Imaji Circus School of Performing Arts.
Awesome.
Hello, my name is Shantae Cargill. I've been with Imanji since 2013. So I'm one of the senior persons in Imanji. I am also a teacher at Imanji Circus.
Awesome.
Performance teacher.
Okay, so I am familiar with Imanji Circus because I've seen you guys perform at the Festival Rum Bahamas
Yes.
at the fort.
Yeah.
And now when I say perform, it wasn't a traditional circus performance where the audience sits and watches them perform. But
Right,
they use the infrastructure of the fort, like the walls of the fort, and the ropes moving from one building to the next to build a performance space. And as they move throughout the fort, if you saw an empty space, you would see an Imanji performer doing something spectacular. So tell me, what is it that each of you do when you're performing?
Well, before we get to that,
Okay.
the reason why that happens, this is exactly how Imanji, this is one of our main objective, which is to be like water. Water is the most destructive and also calmest thing on the earth. But if you pour water into a glass, it becomes the glass. If you pour water into a cup, it becomes the cup. Water can flow, water can crash. So
Yeah.
once you be water, you adapt to any and anything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What a beautiful philosophy. And I hope you all hear that.
Straight from Bruce Lee.
Because even the slowest moving water will erode rock over time and create a pathway for you.
A footprint. they say.
Absolutely.
There you
This is
go.
awesome. So let me get in here quick. What does Imanji mean?
Imanji means Bahamian circus, because when we first started it, it was no meaning behind it. Booyah.
So y'all see, like me, y'all like to make up words, but not just make up words. Create.
It came
new
from
things.
it came from
Yeah.
a friend. Her name was Imanji, but we used to call her Manji. And when she told me her name, I said, "Oh, I'm gonna name my first show after you." I ended
Yeah.
up naming the whole company.
Because it's Bahamian magic.
There you go.
Let's say good morning, Imanji.
Good morning,
We'll owe
Manji.
you something.
Now my first daughter name now is Imanji.
That is awesome. See, yesterday I talked about Scarlet Plum and the importance of knowing the name. Because if you can't call it, you can't sustain it, preserve it, and keep it alive, right? That's why these names are so important. So tell me, the Performing Arts School, is this a full-time school? Like, can I send my child there and they go there 9 to 3 and they do performing arts and then they do English and math and other subjects? Or is it more of an extracurricular type of program?
Currently, it's more extracurricular. So it's more in the afternoons and the weekends.
Okay, and what age ranges? You have space for a slightly older woman like myself,
We don't have old people. It's from 2 to adults.
2 to adults.
Yes,
Right.
all ages.
right.
All ages are welcome. And
As soon as I tape up my ankles, I's a young person again.
Ugh.
But the way my insurance set up. All right, so what do you offer? What skills and do you offer? And what do you call it? I just call it skills, right? But what do you call the things that you do at the school and in the circus?
All right, with the school, these are circus performers who also teach.
Right.
So they teach their skill.
Okay.
So when they're going to talk about their skill. At the school, we cover almost every aspect of performance. We do music, acting, which is drama. We also have circus performing, dance,
All right.
and also martial arts.
Okay, so acting, performance, singing, dance, and martial arts.
Yes,
Okay, what about contortionism?
that's part of the circus.
Okay, so that's
Circus is like a
yeah.
circus, like a one big umbrella, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
it spreads out,
all right.
and everything it spreads to spreads. Like he's gonna tell you right now what he does.
All right.
Go ahead.
Well, my main act is juggling. I'm also a clown and mime performer, so the acting
See, I
aspect.
used to be a clown, but I was trying to juggle 3 men at the same time. And it didn't work out. But juggling and you do clown performance.
Yes, ma'am. And I also do fire blowing, fire manipulation. And right now, I'm in the process of learning aerial cue.
Fire blowing, fire manipulation,
yes, ma'am.
and
Ariel.
Aerial cue.
aerial cube.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, what does that mean? I get the aerial part, you swinging
In there.
in the
Yeah,
air.
yes, ma'am.
But the
yes.
aerial, what's the cube part?
So I'm suspended in the air, and the apparatus that I'm on is shaped like an actual cube. So it's a different form of a trapeze. You know what a
Okay,
trapeze-
yeah.
So it's like, let's say the 4th, 5th level of a trapeze that you go on.
Wow. So there are even levels of skill in terms of a trapeze performance.
Correct.
yes.
There's many different types of trapeze. A lot of people don't know that.
Look here. I am just stunned. So what about costuming? I've seen Okay, so when I saw you guys perform, it was a pirate-themed event. So
Right.
all of the costumes were pirate-related. Do you teach people how to make their own costumes and to make costumes for other performers?
Not as yet. Not as yet. We're working on that. Baby steps, baby steps. But our costumes are made by Bahamian seamstress. We do have one international sewer because I used to work with her.
Okay.
She used to sew for Cirque du Soleil because I used to work with Cirque du Soleil. And she is awesome with bringing characters to life. The ones that you saw,
Yeah.
she brought those to life.
Wow.
So we send her a photo of it, and she makes things happen.
All right. So first of all, I'm slightly stunned that you used to work with Cirque du Soleil, but I still got to turn back to my sister friend over here and say, tell us about your specialties.
Well, I do a lot. I do something called hand-to-hand balancing, which is me and another person. We hold each other up in gravity-defying positions, basically.
So you're teaching people how to maintain and sustain good relationships. Because that's what it is. It's holding each other up in gravity-defying.
Definitely.
I couldn't believe we made it.
Definitely. I actually have some strong relationships with my partners because of that. It's like you have to trust this person basically with your life, because any slip, it could be an injury.
Yeah, a life-changing.
Yeah, and we've also done performances where we've been like 6 feet, 10 feet in the air. So 2 feet to the right, 2 feet to the left.
Yeah, and it's a major problem.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. And so it's not just trusting that they can perform, but trusting that they're doing the work.
Yes.
That they're committed to ensuring that they could protect you.
Most definitely.
That is awesome. So what other skills do you do?
I also do aerial. I do trapeze, like you mentioned. I do silk cloth, which is like the curtain hanging down. I roll up in it. I do stilt walking, Spanish web, some other aerial
wait.
apparatus.
Spanish web.
Yes, Spanish web.
What is that?
So it is a rope suspended and it has a noose on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I either hang my hand or my foot in the noose and do different positions.
And crawl up and
yes,
thing.
yes.
Like a spider.
Like a spider.
Pulling them. Listen, I think I need my audience to know I'm sitting here in this room stunned, right? Because I'm thinking, I just saw, somebody just showed me the Bahamian movie, Knocking the Conch Style, right? And I think the Conch Style is a Bahamian form, traditional Bahamian form of martial arts.
Yeah.
Wait till the Amanji performers and this Bahamian School of Martial Arts come together and develop a whole new Bahamian martial arts technique. Because now we got Knocking the Conch Style, and then we got Karokin and Kabottling. Right? That's where you're launched from a distance and then you run away. And then we have Dashing. Right? That's where you dash them to the ground and you run away. I need you all to understand the fundamental parts of these martial arts is the running away part. I cannot underscore that enough.
You gotta learn how to run.
Right, because we're not about fighting, we're about getting safe.
Engage and run.
Right.
Since you mention it, the Manji performers, we've actually been learning martial arts. I won't dive on it too much because there might be a secret that I'm revealing, but we actually are going to incorporate martial arts into some of our performances.
Yes, and let me tell you why. Because Bahamians love karate movies, right?
Kung Fu.
And Kung Fu, well.
Kung Fu movies.
No, you're right, because I'm too young to know the difference. All I know is put in the VHS tape and I'm watching it.
If it's VHS, you know it's Kung Fu.
Right, and the part we like most about it is the aerial tricks and when the seven
acrobatics,
ninjas jump in the air one time.
Yeah.
Right, choreographed. Look here, I am so okay. So, how rigorous is the training? If I'm gonna do this, what do I need to prepare for?
Let me look at myself.
A lot. Okay. Like a lot of people think and look at you and be like, oh, that looks so easy. But it's core strength, upper body strength. Like you engage your entire body when you do what we do. Like it's not just, okay, yeah, just have upper arm strength. Like you have some guys who come in there and they're like, oh yeah, I lift weights. You know, I'm strong. And they go up there and they can't lift their legs.
Right. Or what they don't realize is that no matter how much weight you put on, you still have to
Lift
be able
your own
to carry
person.
that weight.
Yes.
If you watch a show like American Ninja Warrior,
Yes.
you see that all the time.
And that's one of the main reasons why we don't lift weights. Because if you can't carry what you have, why you carrying something else?
Man, look here. Like training for the psychics is like training for life.
Yes, certainly
It's like
is.
training for the Marines.
How to be a clown and how to avoid being a clown. It's awesome. No, but I mean, these are
That's what it
real,
is.
valuable life skills.
It really is.
You can't do any of this without spatial awareness. I imagine
Yes.
constantly you have to know what is happening around you.
You have to know discipline. You have to discipline yourself so much that the training becomes a walk in the park.
All right. So now my kid comes to me and says, "Look here, Mom, I want to go do what these boys them doing. How many hours a week do I realistically need to figure out for my child to both train and participate formally in the school?"
All right, first of all, we got you to the school because you lost me on that one. Because, we're talking about the circus.
Okay.
The circus and the school is two different entities,
Now, okay, sorry.
but they are together.
Yeah.
You have to go to the school to be an audition for the circus.
Right. You have to
Nowadays
train
days.
there first.
Right.
Okay.
So your kid can actually come to the school, depends on the level of your kid, twice a week, 3 times a week.
Okay.
And if you want to push it even further, you could do 5 times a week because we have specialties. I have a lady who wants to be in the circus and she wants to be a contortionist.
Yeah.
So she comes to see me 4 times a week.
Okay.
So it's on the person. It don't have to be a classroom setting. It can be actually one-on-one. And that's for anything that we train.
Oh man, this is amazing. So I had a question here about opportunities available for members, sort of post training or post performance. Do you help people who want to continue to teach by helping them find jobs in performing arts schools or circuses in the international community?
Yes, we're already doing that, I guess. That's what Jemai does. Yeah. My oldest son.
Yeah.
Yeah, he left last year.
Okay.
That's last year. Yeah. He's been gone so long. He's part of Lion King now.
The Lion King group.
Broadway
Yeah, the
musical.
Broadway
So look here,
musical.
Disney's Lion King.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That means we now have at least 2 Bahamians that have been in the Lion King, because Giovanni Stewart, I hope that's your last name,
Wilskin.
from QC.
Wilskin.
From QC. Another Comet was the first one.
Yeah.
But this is awesome.
He also was part of Imanji, one of the trainers.
Okay.
He was one of our choreographers.
All right. See, because parents are out there saying, listen, this seem like my kid loved to do this, but am I really going to pay money for my child to learn how to flip around on the ground and throw their leg and don't fall down and swing from things? Is there a viable future for them? But apparently
It is.
there is.
And that's what I think the powers of the bee is missing. Entertainment is life.
Yeah.
They're missing that. Everybody comes to the Bahamas for sunshine and sea, but you could find that anywhere.
Yeah.
So we have to change the demographic of what's going on, and so everybody can gravitate towards us.
All right. So I got a couple of texts here. The guest says, this is a little rude text. The guest is saying, y'all could teach a podcake how to drive a car? Since y'all teach people things.
I don't think that's rude.
But, the way he said it, it was a little rude. But I'm going to say this. Do you train animals?
No, we don't train animals.
All right. Would you be
Not
open
yet.
to working with dog trainers and incorporating
No problem.
animals?
And that's why I said I don't think it's rude. I think it's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
So his rudeness just made us a millionaire.
Look here, you see that text? I don't know
that?
if you can get a cut.
No, he can.
I mean, I can get a cut. Okay. So my text is, I'm going to get to the non-show text in a minute. I have grown in the U.S. and have met a lot of partners, talking about medical marijuana, that would help teach, also invest time, money, and experience. So text, I'm going to get back to your text. The importance of not using mind-altering substances when you're training. Let's talk about that. Let's talk like the responsibility of preparing your body to do this type of work. We say to young people in particular, right? What would you say to a young person?
Let the young people answer.
Well,
Yeah.
first of all, let me say this. Like, everyone wants to, have a good time, feel good. But when you're working your body, and you're using these apparatus, you have to be in full focus, right? Because at any point, yes, we have certain safety precautions in place, but that doesn't stop all injuries, right?
Yeah.
We've had instances where there have been persons who have come to practice and they've caused injuries because they weren't focused, because they have been doing something else. They came and they caused injury to another person. So you have to be focused when you're doing this because you literally have someone else's lives in your hand.
Yeah.
Especially when you're doing a partner act or when you're in the air. Especially those ones, you have to be paying attention. You have to be focused.
Yeah.
Mind-altering substances, whether legal or illegal, can harm you, can harm your focus, and can harm your participation and making sure that you're safe and someone else is safe. Like, I don't want my partner to come to work drunk. I don't want my partner to come to work high. I don't want somebody who's supposed to be spotting me and making sure I'm safe to come to work drunk or high. And then, now on top of the safety aspect, also the performance level. You can't give your best performance when you're not focused, when you're not paying attention.
Because performances or performing is a high on its own.
Yeah.
And Erin, you've been on stage.
Yeah. I can tell you, I know about that.
Especially when you hit that right spot. You get that right laugh.
I'm telling you,
it's over.
Yeah. And for me, I'm always super nervous when I'm on stage, right?
That adrenaline going.
Boy, and so when that joke hit, buddy, you have to and you have to be so focused. With comedy, you have to remember that you are telling the joke. You can't laugh. You can't just they laugh, and you gotta and
That's how it is.
Right, and you always present. Always present. I think it's important not just for young people to know, but for older Bahamians to know and understand as well, because this is the behavior that you're modeling to young people, right? And in the same way that you can't be on a mind-altering substance and drive a car as well as you would without the mind-altering substance, right? It's the same way you cannot engage in these high-risk physical activities that require a high level of mental engagement as well, right?
Yes.
Because you have to be a quick thinker.
For sure.
You can't do that.
Watch this, Erin. Shante and Chris's one, they were in school during practice time most of the time. They would still come, but they would study before. And they would be doing work, and they'd look at me, oh, I'm going to go out. I'd be like, nah.
Yeah.
Finish what you got to do.
Yeah.
Do something light.
All right,
because if you're not focused, boom. And that's not even mind-altering drugs. That's just you focusing on something else.
Right. And you're sitting there saying, well, I'm only going to injure myself, but this is this collective responsibility thing. No, you injuring yourself in my school is going to have a negative impact on my school, which may have a negative impact on the people who are using the school, and which may have a negative impact on the people who may no longer get to participate in the school because I have to shut it down because of one silly mistake. Okay, I got a text here. Jarvis, keep up the good work from classmate Chocolate. And then I got another text here. Hi, I'm sure some of our politicians may have attempted this great performance art school. They are so good. Now, dear texter, I would like to thank you for that text because I'm going to tell you why. The truth is, our politicians should be attending a performing arts school. They should get some degree of training from a space like this. See, what they do in the circus in particular, right, and with performing arts is sort of the same thing that we would do at the spot on stage. When you get on stage in improv comedy, as a collective, you are causing the audience to imagine a scenario with you.
You're creating that world.
On stage right in front of them. And all of them, you bringing the whole audience with you into that world. It's called collective imagination. So when you're a leader of a country, you have to develop a vision. And you have to get the entire country and foreigners as well to see the vision.
The vision.
And create that environment so they are in the vision with you because we're all imagining our collective future together.
One band, one sound.
And the circus performance does the same thing as well.
Correct.
And so any leader, anybody who wants to be a leader, anybody who wants to be a teacher should come and figure out how to participate in an activity like this. So we can make another $1 million by starting a school for performing professional arts.
Correct.
Right? I can call Anku and Sakani and Leah, and we can sit down. Oh, those are the people who form the sport. Some of the people who form.
I know all of them.
Right, and in the formal in the beginning years, and R.I.P. Paul and Alan. Anyway, a little sadness come to me just now. The point is, there are so many skills that we could use for our personal and professional development in these spaces. So, go on.
Well, since you mentioned that, like I wanted to put a spot on that because a lot of persons think when you come here you're just doing circus arts or dancing or any of those things, but actually when you do this, when you perform on stage, it actually creates more confidence in persons. Like I will put the spot on my friend here, Chris, because when he first came, like he was so shy.
Yeah.
Right. He wasn't as outgoing as he is now, even on stage and in person. Through this, he's gained confidence. He has become more of himself, and he's been able to, I guess, stand out more as a person. This teaches confidence. It doesn't just teach, this skill, that skill. It teaches life skills. It allows you to be able to speak better, allows you to be able to convey a message better, like you were saying, allows you to bring others into your vision. Mm-hmm. And that's something that you don't get other places.
Yeah. At all. And to know that you could toss your body into the air and control your movement, control the space you occupy, and land exactly where you intend to land is the sort of confidence building exercise that every young person in this country should have. But let me say this in particular, that every young man should have. Because one of the things our young men are missing is the confidence in their ability to perform and do what they need to do to take care of themselves. That's what they're missing, that confidence. And that requires somebody stepping in and creating an environment where they could have the experiences that lead men to becoming men. Right? And so all these other people who call themselves man out there, if you're not doing that, if you're not doing something that's creating a space so where somebody could have an opportunity to discover themselves and like my friend here said, to learn about themselves and confident in who they are, then what you doing calling yourself man?
Right.
And the same thing to woman. What you doing calling yourself woman if you're not prepared to make those contributions to your society? Because if you've seen these people work, trust me, they have to trust in each other. They have to have confidence in each other. They have to have confidence in the person that attached the line to the wall so they could zip line down. Right? They have to operate at a professional level. Anyway, I got a bunch of texts here and we are out of time, so let me get these texts to you. Tell your guests, if any Bahamian child tell their parent they want to join the circus, they will get beaten. I just letting you all know that. Not the parents who watch Cirque du Soleil, though.
Say what?
Not the parents who watch Lion King. They ain't going to discourage their children.
No.
Not like that.
Because we always teaching our children, when you graduate, either go to college, find a government job, or work in the bank, or be a lawyer, or be a doctor. But let me tell all your people who listening.
I was just about to.
Let me tell y'all something.
Grab that.
Circus performers or performers get paid just as much as doctors and lawyers or more. Mm-hmm. Because we get paid for the skill, not the time. So most people who, like Shante does the balancing, she works for 5 minutes, 10 minutes max, and that's $500 plus 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. So we just need more people like that. So the government and the hotels could be like, hey, we need to hire.
Right, because you guys are a tourism product in and of itself.
Yes.
Not that you're performing for tourists.
No.
But you are a product in and of itself, and I hope that there's a space for you guys in the new Port Wharf downtown development. There must be. Like I said, we're all out of time, so Mr. Jarvis Grant, please share your contacts before we close out the show for the day.
We'll let Chris do all that. Go, Chris.
Well, if you're interested in attending Imagine Circus School of Performing Arts, then you can also come down.
Yeah, straight into the mic. Yeah.
You can come down to Imagine School in the summer, where we're hosting summer classes, basically in dance, music, circus, gymnastics, and theater. The ages are 2 to adult, and the 2 sessions, there are going to be 2 sessions on 9 a.m. To 1 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
and 3 o'clock to 7 p.m.
Okay.
And the ages, like I said, from 2 all the way up
What
to
date
adult.
is that again?
The location is on Kamika Road, number 42, Kamika Road, across from St. Gregory's Church,
Okay.
directly across from that.
Okay. And give me a contact number.
Our contact number is 242-824-4532. Let me say it again, 242-824-4532.
All right. Thank you very much. And if anybody was trying to get information and sort of missed it, you could reach out to me, Erin Greene, on my Facebook page, or reach out to my producer, and he will shoot a message to me, and I will shoot the info to you. I am all out of time, but I have to say this. On May the 28th, the Orange Economy Conversation Series is focusing on visual and performing arts, and that's hosted by the Bahamas Development Bank. That's May 28th, 11 to 12:30 a.m., and IRCA is hosting a virtual 2021 oral hearing, May 26th, at 4 p.m. Oh, Urk, I wish I had more time to talk about that, but you guys are so lucky. Thank you, my Imanji Circus and School of Performing Arts guests. Thank you, audience, for tuning in. This is the last you'll hear from me until after the holiday weekend. It is time to love ourselves, Bahamians, but let's be mindful, let's be respectful. Let's take care of each other this holiday. Have a great day, and stay tuned to 96.9 FM all day. Talk radio. It's the best. Have a great day, Bahamas.